Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and it's Wednesday, therefore I thought it'd be fun to do another episode of Dear Nero, a series I used to do a lot way back in the day. Every single Wednesday, I would just sit down and answer questions that came in from the community. As of late, I have been bringing it back. I don't know if I'm going to bring it back permanently. We've done it, what's this going to be, like 3 of the past 4 weeks, something like that. You guys seem to enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. I don't have a whole lot of time today, so we're not going to be answering as many questions, but I got some really good questions here that I think you guys are going to find pretty interesting, and of course, there is an update to Black Ops Cold War coming out, I think, tonight at midnight Eastern Time, and that's going to rebalance snipers. Very excited about that, as well as a bunch of other things, so tomorrow should be a pretty fun time for people that still play Black Ops Cold War. The first question of this week's episode of Dear Nero is going to be coming in from Nazkiller, who writes, do you think this year's Battlefield and their rumored free-to-play Battle Royale game can create a massive dent in Call of Duty's player base? Well, Naz, thank you very much for the question. I think that Battlefield is going to create a dent in the Call of Duty player base, but it's not going to be a massive one, at least at the very beginning. I think a lot of FPS fans, like people that play COD, are also fans of FPS in general, and when a new Battlefield comes out, especially after it's been a while and the last couple Battlefields haven't been so well received, I think people are going to be excited about that. I know I'm excited about it. The last Battlefield I really sunk my teeth into was Battlefield 4, and so I think a lot of people initially are going to jump ship to Battlefield and play that and enjoy that, but will it make a huge dent in COD's player base long term? I think that really depends on how good that Battlefield is, right? Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, neither of them really did much to derail COD in any serious way, especially when it comes to Battle Royale. But if Battlefield is smart, if they do decide to make their rumored Battle Royale game free to play, then that's going to be huge, right? Free to play is, every Battle Royale has to be free to play. If there's a barrier to entry, even $20, that barrier to entry is going to be enough to make people not want to play. Right, Warzone's free, Apex Legends is free, every big BR game is free, so if they come out and say, hey, you can play this new Battle Royale game, but you have to buy Battlefield first, people aren't going to care. The Battlefield fans will care, and some Battlefield fans will play it, but ultimately they'll be setting themselves up for failure by not making their BR game free to play. So I'm excited for Battlefield. I think it's going to be a good thing to have COD have some more healthy competition. Like the glory days of COD, if you really think about it, going back to like the golden age of COD, one of the things that made the game so good was Battlefield was like a big competitor. And then, you know, when Respawn became a thing and Titanfall came out, that was also kind of a competitor to COD, right? There was just like these new games coming out within the same somewhat genre, and it was good. That's what kind of helped COD have to keep on innovating and actually make their content good. And when they released their game, they had like 16 maps at launch and like 40 weapons and so on and so forth, because competition is a great thing. And Call of Duty hasn't had any real competition over the course of the past couple of years, outside of like Battle Royale. So definitely excited about it. Battlefield 6 is going to be pretty cool. Hopefully it turns out good, but again, it remains to be seen. We have to learn a lot more about that game before we can really get too on board with the hype train. The next question is going to be coming in from Gamer Dude, who writes, Dear Nero, when you look at the Call of Duties that had microtransactions, do you look at them and think it was better for us free-to-play players as we actually got decent content for free compared to today? When looking at today's free content, it feels like most is garbage compared to the microtransactions. So, Gamer Dude, I think what you mean by being a free-to-play player is someone who actually purchased the game, which makes you not a free-to-play player, but basically someone who bought the game and is not spending money on microtransactions and stuff. Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're going truly free-to-play, like if you're not even buying the initial Battle Pass to get the COD points from the Battle Pass to buy the next Battle Pass, if you're only going off of the free content that is available on the Battle Pass, which is occasionally like some double XP tokens, like 100 COD points here and there, maybe like a watch or something, like, yeah, it's horrible. It's absolutely terrible. There's no way to actually like earn those things that you see in the shop and these extra things without spending money. It is awful compared to a game like Call of Duty World War II, for example, where you had armory credits or depot credits back in Modern Warfare Remastered. I think Infinite Warfare, I didn't play the game that much, so you guys know much more about Infinite Warfare than I do, but I think people really enjoyed Infinite Warfare's system as well. It is important to remind you guys that we do get free weapons as well as free maps. That's a good thing. But when it comes to like cosmetics, like the stuff in the shop is pretty insane. Like there's lots of really good variants. And even if you are somebody who did do that, like that one-time purchase on the Battle Pass, then completes it every season, then gets their COD points to buy the next Battle Pass and the next Battle Pass and so on and so forth, even the stuff on the Battle Pass more or less is pretty terrible compared to the stuff that you actually have to pay for in the shop. And that's by design, right? They want you to spend more money. So yeah, for sure. I can definitely agree that if you're somebody that is not spending money on microtransactions, the extra content that you get in the game just by actually playing and earning it is pretty lackluster. In fact, I talked about in yesterday's video how dark matter 6 months into the game's life cycle is awful looking on most guns, even popular guns like the Krieg. Like it barely even covers the Krieg. Like it's mind-boggling how bad it is. Meanwhile, they're releasing like these rocket ship variants of like the AK or the Dragon variant of, I forget which gun that was. I don't buy things in the shops, so I don't even know. But some of the stuff that you see in the shop is actually genuinely insane, and the stuff that we get for actually playing the game is really bad. Even dark matter this year, which is a travesty. So yeah, hopefully with the next COD they get a little bit better about that, but like I discussed in yesterday's video, chances are that is not going to happen. The next question is going to be coming in from Ricardo, who writes, Dear Nero, if Treyarch said tomorrow you can play Black Ops 1 Remastered only for PlayStation 5, plus all the DLC maps are free, what would be your thoughts? So Ricardo, there's already enough to be outraged about in the Call of Duty franchise. I don't need to be outraged about hypotheticals. But yeah, just real quick, if they were to remaster a beloved COD like Black Ops 1 and make it a PlayStation exclusive, that would be a travesty. And I would make a 40-minute long rant video, and my throat would hurt by the end of it. The next question is going to be coming in from Repeat. This one I actually thought was funny. I probably shouldn't have included it, but it was just kind of funny to me. Repeat writes, Dear Nero, why don't girls like me? Well, Repeat, it's because this is your profile picture, right? Anime profile pictures, dry as the Sahara down there, every time, right? If you want to get likes, you want people to follow you, NerosCinema profile picture. Definitely much better. The next question is going to be coming in from Zor Flatley, who writes, Dear Nero, how and when did you decide you liked doing YouTube and making COD content? Well, Zor, I come from... It's weird, right? Because I was watching YouTube for years and years and years before I started doing it myself. And so I don't consider myself to be an old school YouTuber because there were many other COD YouTubers before me, right? But, by today's standards, I'm a very old school COD YouTuber. We're coming up actually on the 10-year anniversary of the channel. And it sounds weird to say, but back in my day, you know, back when I started YouTube, there was no money to be made on YouTube, right? The only way to make money on YouTube was to become a Machinima partner and submit your videos to them and have them upload your videos to their channel, Machinima Respawn, and then every few months they would cut you a check based on how well your videos did. So initially, early on, it wasn't about like this becoming a job or making money, or like there was no incentive, right? The only incentive to make COD videos when I started was because you just wanted to make COD videos, right? Because you enjoy the game, you think. We all have a little bit of ego, I suppose. You think you're good at the game. You think you have something to add. You think you have something to contribute, you know, to the Call of Duty community. And I was watching COD YouTubers like Blame Truth and XCal, and I guess if you're going way back when, like Hutch, back when he did COD stuff primarily, CNanners, Beyond, Scoreboard. There were so many of these like old school amazing guys that I just watched all the time. Wings of Redemption even, and I thought to myself, like, I want to be a part of that. Like that seems really fun, and what's the harm in it, right? I make some videos, my videos do well, cool. If they don't do well, who cares, right? I did it for fun. And for some reason, when I first started my channel, I had a lot of fun with it. I actually did a little bit of variety. I think there was some Gears of War stuff, some Battlefield stuff, maybe even a Skyrim video here or there, I can't even remember. And then Modern Warfare 3 came out. I started my channel like 6 months or so before Modern Warfare 3, like right towards the end of Black Ops 1's life cycle. And my Modern Warfare 3 videos kind of blew up. Well, blow up is a relative term, but they started to do pretty well. And I applied for a Machinima partnership, and they accepted me. And at this point, you could monetize your own channel. And then my channel was monetized. At the time, I was still working at Walmart, unloading trucks and stuff like that. And I just kept making videos because I enjoyed doing it. The paychecks were very small and they were sporadic and stuff, but it was still cool that I was getting paid to do something I was going to do for free anyway. And then eventually got to the point where I was making as much money from YouTube as I was unloading trucks at Walmart. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I'm making the same amount of money, you know, why not just put all my effort and time into YouTube, right? As compared to just trying to balance the two. It's like you're sitting there just unloading trucks in the middle of summer, sweating your balls off, thinking to yourself like, you know, I could be like sitting at my computer right now playing video games and talking about them and stuff and be making the same amount of money. And so that's what I did. left Walmart, and then started doing YouTube full time. That's when the channel really started to gain traction. So when did I decide, going back to the question, when did I decide that I liked doing it? Right from the very beginning. So that was the whole point. Like people these days, kids are growing up watching YouTube. People just, they have this idea, and there's another question actually regarding this, but people go into YouTube now thinking, I'm going to be a YouTuber. This is going to be my full-time job. This is going to be my career. And let me tell you how you are going to fucking hate YouTube and COD if you go into it with that perspective. Like, if you go into it thinking to yourself, like, this is now my job. I will put in 8 hours a day, every single day, for years to make this my career. I get that it's better than most other jobs, but it's taking your hobby and turning it into work, right? And it takes something you're passionate about and it turns it into work when you look at it from that perspective. And so back when I started, it was not a matter of I'm going to do this because it's going to be my career. I did it because I just wanted to, and it was fun. And I think a lot of people that get into YouTube these days don't look at it from that perspective. Like, sure, they like the idea of gaming, they like watching content creators, but that's why you see so many people. And you guys, I'm sure, countless people watching this video, countless people, even like people that you guys know. How many of you have started a channel, realized, I'm not getting a bunch of views right away. I'm kind of just done with this. I'm going to go back to watching YouTube and watching Twitch and not be a creator. Probably thousands of you. Like, that's not me being rude. That's like genuinely true. Like countless and countless and countless people always all think, I'm gonna start YouTube. Then they realize, oh, I'm not making any money. I quit. Like that's pretty much it. Like very few and far between do you see the people that start YouTube and don't see success right away and then continue to grind it for years and years and years, like everyone else had to do way back in the day. So I've always enjoyed YouTube. I said this is going to be a shorter episode, and here I am just talking over one of the questions. But I enjoyed that question. I thought that was a pretty good one. The next question is going to be coming in from Surf Renegade, who writes, Dear Nero, what is your opinion of Call of Duty doing a standalone zombies title? In my opinion, in a time where developers only seem to care about Snore Zone and multiplayer is dying due to lack of original content and sweatiness, zombies is the only casual experience I have left to play anymore. So, Mr. Surf Renegade, I think that's an awesome idea. There are leaks and rumors suggesting that Treyarch is going to be helping Sledgehammer with Call of Duty 2021, and it's going to be a zombies mode, and there's question of whether or not it's going to be a continuation of Cold War zombies. We don't really know, but forget all that. Like, I think it would be awesome if we had a standalone zombies game, call it Call of Duty Zombies, release it this year, and then have that be a standalone game that gets updated year after year after year after year. Right, that would actually be awesome. I think that would be so cool. It would be Call of Duty, but it would also be a game that people would just play all the time as like a side game, or for some people, a main game. The reason why I think they don't do it is because they sell zombies as part of the $60 package. If Call of Duty was strictly just campaign and multiplayer, then it would. I think they'd have a really hard time trying to sell the game for $60 or $70 like they're doing now. Right, they basically bundle all the modes together so they can justify that price point. But if they were to get rid of a third game mode and basically just have it be multiplayer and maybe like a 4-hour campaign, then people are, casual players anyway, are probably not going to want to spend $60 on that game. They want to feel like they're getting a lot for the money they're putting in, right? And so if they did get rid of zombies, make it a standalone game, they'd have to find something else to kind of fill in the void that was left by zombies or Spec Ops or whatever third game mode, right? And they could do that potentially by a bunch of cosmetic skins for buying the game. I don't know what they would do. I really don't know what they would replace it with, but I think that's honestly the reason why Call of Duty Zombies hasn't become a standalone thing. I think if you had Raven and then Sledgehammer, Treyarch being the head guys, like the Treyarch Zombies team being the head guys, and then getting assistance from Raven and Sledgehammer, who have also done some zombie-related things, that could be potentially pretty cool. Maybe having Fandy Ward help if they want to do like an entire expansion to it where they bring back Extinction or something like that. There's a lot they could do with a standalone Zombies title, and it would be cool to see zombies get that really like preferential treatment where, like, you know, for example, let's say we're just going to call it World War II Vanguard. That's the COD that comes out this year, reportedly. Let's say that game comes out along with Call of Duty Zombies as its own standalone game. That would be pretty fantastic, right? I think people would really enjoy being able to play zombies and really have that game have its own development team, its own staff, and have it be as updated as World War II Vanguard. Like, have two games, essentially, that get tons and tons of preferential treatment. That would be awesome. So, yeah, I think they actually will do that at some point in the future, but the question is when. Call of Duty Zombies has been a thing for, 13 years now? something like that. So they haven't done a standalone game. They've done countless spin-offs, but they haven't made a standalone game. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. The next question is going to be coming in from Psycho, who writes, Dear Nero, are you fortunate enough to still maintain contact or ability to play with any of the friends you had from the earlier days of COD? I'm talking Call of Duty 4 to the Black Ops 1 days. Also, what would be the number one thing you would prioritize changing for the franchise? So the answer this in reverse. The number one thing I would change about the franchise: no more annual releases. Just get rid of that. It's been a problem for years. The games would be so much better if we just stopped with the annual release cycle, even just for a little bit, even just for a couple of years. That'd be the number one thing I would change. Do I have the ability to maintain contact or play with any of the friends from the old days? A few of them. SB Cardinal I still talk to because I know him in real life. Swami's my cousin. So I was able to, I'm able to just like, hey, you want to play video games? And then we can play. But he's not really as in the video games anymore as he used to be. Cypher is still around. He's like the one online friend, like purely online friend that I've had since like Black Ops 1 that I still have contact with, really. He's in my Discord. We chat pretty frequently. Everyone else, though, is kind of fallen by the wayside. You look back at all the... I'm trying to, like... It seems like it'd be rude for me just to, like, name off names and then forget some people. But, like, Blue Bob, for example, Trigger, Voodoo. I think I could get in contact with Buell. I'm not entirely sure. I think I could. There's just a lot of people from back in the day that have just, if you talk about, like, a group of friends that you had in 2010, and now it's 2021, chances are... And especially... I'm so scatterbrained today, but the thing about it is for a lot of us, the good old days of COD, like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 2, even going back to COD 4 and World at War, the thing about it is a lot of us, not everyone, there's exceptions to every rule, but a lot of us were teenagers at that time. Right? I know my demographics. I know a lot of you guys were at that point. And the thing is, like, we're in like late middle school, early high school. We start playing, we're enjoying COD, play with friends every night. It's a blast. But eventually, high school ends. People start going to college. People start going to trade school. People enter the workforce. People start getting married. People start moving. People start, starting their real lives. And throughout that process, you end up losing contact with a lot of the people that back in the day you would play with all the time because you were a bunch of carefree middle school and high school kids that had no real responsibilities in life, right? And then life happens and everyone grows up and they have to go out and do things. I'm fortunate, I suppose, in the sense that I've been doing YouTube since I was, 19? Something like that. So I never really had to, quote unquote, grow up. I don't have to go to a real job. I'm dating. I have a mortgage on my house. I have a truck payment and stuff like that. Like, I'm an adult in some ways, but in other ways, I never had to move across the country. I never went to college. I never went to a trade school. I never had to do a lot of these things. So I was able to dedicate, and because of my job, I was able to dedicate a lot of time to video games and YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that. And so in a sense, I never really grew up. I never had that like normal life progression that a lot of other people have, and so as a result, it's like, oh, all my friends are abandoning me. But no, I'm aware enough to understand, like, they went to college, they started a family. There's plenty of people I know that have kids now, multiple kids, or they moved across country because they got some great job over there, or they moved across country to be with someone they started dating online, and now they're gonna be getting married, like stuff like that, right? Like, I don't know, it's weird how life goes on, and I know a lot of you guys here were in the same boat as me, whereas back in the day, the good old days, there's even memes about it. There's tons of memes about, hey, see you tomorrow, last online 8 years ago. That's a thing. That's certainly a thing, and I think we've all experienced it in one way or another, and I wouldn't change anything for the world, man. I wouldn't change those memories, because the memories I have of staying up way too late in high school playing Call of Duty World at War with my best friend and my cousin and our online friends, like Nick from Texas, Delman from Colorado, the Canadians, Red Robin, Buell, and actually I don't think we met them I don't think we met them in World at War, but regardless, it was just, I wouldn't change any of it. It was so fun. It was an amazing point in my life, and I look back at those days very fondly, and it would be nice to talk to some of those guys again. I mean, they know how to get in contact with me if they really wanted to. I mean, it's not hard to find me. I'm on Twitter. I'm on YouTube. It's pretty hard to miss me. But yeah, going back to it one more time, the number one thing I would change about the COD franchise would be the annual releases, just to kind of make sure I cover both bases with that question. The next and final question is going to be coming in from Opulent, who writes, Dear Nero, do you have any regrets about YouTube and what it's become for you, the popularity, missed opportunities, etc.? As someone who's trying to make it my job, I'd love some perspective on this. Thanks. So, Opulent, the biggest regret on YouTube, not like gaming in general or anything like that, because no regrets there. I love gaming. My biggest regret on YouTube is the same kind of regrets that I think all of us have over so many facets of our lives. How many of you right now are thinking, man, I'm thinking about getting in shape. I'm thinking about working out. And how many of you have thought about that previously? Chances are you thought about that 6 months ago, and you think to yourself, man, I have such a road ahead of me, right? I don't want to just, if I start working out now, I'm not going to see progress forever. It just so much to do. But time goes by regardless, no matter what, right? So 6 months ago, you were thinking about starting to work out. Chances are you haven't. And now those 6 months have gone by, and you think to yourself, shit, if I just would have done that, if I just would have started even working out 2 times a week or something like that, over the course of 6 months, there would be some really serious improvement on my body, right? We've all thought that, I'm sure. And the same is true of YouTube. I always think to myself, like, what if I would have worked harder? What if I would have forced out more videos? What if I would have jumped on this bandwagon or done this or done that? Like, the possibilities are infinite when it comes to YouTube, especially over the course of like 10 years. There's so many different paths I could have gone down. I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. Would I like to have my channel grow? Sure, of course, everyone would. And chances are it will right around the time the next COD starts getting teased. Like right now, we're kind of like in a lull period because the new game's out. It's 6 months in. The game's not well loved. It's not the most popular COD ever, and there's not really a whole lot happening to it. I mean, Season 3 Reload is happening, so that's going to be fine. But in general, like, people don't care as much about Cold War multiplayer right now. I mean, the devs don't care, so the player base is starting not to care either. But, when the next COD starts getting teased, then it eventually has the alpha and the beta, and the channel rebounds just fine. I'm not really worried about it. But the biggest thing for me is I wish I would have been much more consistent with my uploads. I think I would have tried to do different things, and I may do these things in the future, but branching out into different styles of video. I mean, that's the thing. You want YouTube to become your job. Again, I hope you didn't just get into this because you want YouTube to be your job. I hope you got into it because YouTube is fun and you enjoy it, and whether or not it becomes your job, you still continue to do it because you find fulfillment from it. That's like the most important thing. But the biggest thing is try to be consistent. Try to have somewhat of a schedule, but don't burn yourself out. That's like the biggest thing. And I have had those periods where I burn myself out, and then it's like, oh, I'm just going to take a break. I'm too burnt out. And then because you burn yourself out for like virtually no gain, and then you're burnt out, so you want to take a break, and so now you're taking a break and nothing's happening. Your channel is just stagnating or even getting worse because people are leaving and forgetting about you. Like, the best thing to do is be consistent, have a somewhat of a decent schedule, and don't burn yourself out at the same time. And it's really hard to balance. Like, as YouTubers and content creators, we're constantly, that thing where people have the sticks or whatever and they're bouncing the spinning plates. Like, that's what being a YouTuber kind of is. That's what being a content creator kind of is. In some sense, I kind of miss the traditional job where you just have someone like, hey, be here tomorrow, 2 to 10, or else. And that's pretty much it. Like, oh, well, boss man says I have to be here, and then you go there, you go do your job, you put in your 8 hours, you go home, you do that 5 days a week, and it's simple, right? Whereas a YouTuber, I can work 18 hours a day if I choose to. I can work 0 hours in an entire week if I choose to. It's all very much on you. You don't have someone breathing down your neck. You have to it's all self-motivation. And so if you're looking at like getting into YouTube like as a job and trying to put like a lot of effort into it, it's going to be hard at first. I'm still struggling with it now, 10 years in, trying to figure out like how to best balance everything, because you have to put work in, but you don't want to burn yourself out, but you have to, maintain your channel and keep it relevant, because if this is going to become your job, everyone has bills, right? Mortgages, they have stuff they have to pay off. So it's like, well, you have to balance content, but you don't want to force content just for the sake of forcing content. It's like, there's so much. There's so much. Again, I'm very scatterbrained today. I'm just kind of all over the place. I think it's because I don't really, usually when I make videos, I jot down notes to kind of keep me on topic. When I do Dear Nero, there's nothing here to keep me on topic. There's there's just questions. But I say my biggest regret on YouTube is the same regret that we all have when it comes to like working out or learning a new skill. Like I want to learn guitar, I want to play the piano, I want to do this, I want to do that. It's always like if I just was started this 6 months ago, my progression would be crazy right now. And the same thing is with YouTube. So if you're thinking about starting YouTube, start it. If you want YouTube to become your job, or you already have an established channel but you're looking to grow it, be consistent, be known for something, find yourself a niche, find out what works for your channel, and above all else, make videos that people want to watch. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up this episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, consider leaving a like. If the response to this video is good, then next week I'll probably do another episode. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. I like having like a stable series like this on the channel, like that people can look forward to and expect on a certain day of the week. That's kind of nice, right? I think, back during like the peak of my channel, there was like Dear Nero every Wednesday. Then there was like Moab Friday and Moab Monday and Moab Friday back in Modern Warfare 3. Then it was like Chem Strike Saturday, DNA Saturday. Like we always had like these very like set shows, if you want to call them that, every week on my channel. And that was back during like the peak of NerosCinema, back in like, it's weird. Call of Duty Ghosts is one of my least favorite CODs, and yet that was like when my channel peaked. It's really weird. Yeah, so maybe we'll start doing this every single week. We'll see. But I hope you guys all enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving the video a like, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
All hostiles eliminated. Come on home.